joining us on the hotline right now. I bet you he likes rom-coms too. I mean, I guess he's probably sensitive in that regard in a good way. The general manager for the New York Mets, our buddy Billy Eppler. Billy, Craig, and Evan, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Rom-coms. Where are we going with this?
Are you a rom-com guy? You like a... No, not at all.
No.
A little bit?
I haven't watched anything on TV besides baseball, and I can't even remember the last time.
I want that answer from my general manager. I like that. He's watching minor league baseball games.
Yeah.
He's scouting.
Okay.
That's what I want to hear from my GM. He has no life and just watches nothing but baseball. Good. Thank you.
You haven't watched, Reacher yet? Or any of the good shows on TV? Like, it's all baseball?
If you offered me $1 million, I couldn't tell you what platform that show is on, what it's about, or who's in it.
Do you ever find baseball boring? Late at night, you're watching a West Coast game, you're like, ugh, now I know why people turn this off.
No.
No, just
I
checking.
don't find it boring.
Billy, I apologize for my partner. He's a baseball-hating bastard
I'm
sometimes.
just asking, that's all. All right, so, Billy Eppler. We just had Brian Cashman on a few minutes ago. And to be
How
fair,
was he?
Well, Brian's Brian Cashman. He's long-winded.
Yeah.
But he's
I know him well.
He's never had a losing season, so he has that going for him. I had to start the interview off. I'll ask you the same question. Give Met fans who live and die with every rumor, every decision, every possibility, an overview, like a 30,000-foot overview of what you accomplished for the New York Mets, not just at the deadline, but in the days leading up to the deadline in the moves that you made.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think we kind of started a touch earlier, than everybody else is making an acquisition. I think, day one coming out of the All-Star break, one of the areas, I guess in general, what we were really trying to do is just let's grow some run scoring and run prevention, right? So however that can manifest itself, let's just be open to kind of either avenue. And it seemed to present, early on at the DH spot and in the good side of a platoon, meaning, the left-handed side, because there is just more right-handed pitchers in baseball than anything else. So, we were able to grab, Vogelbach early. And so we knew that, he had this track record against hitting right-handed pitching and really made good decisions in the batter's box, could drive the on-base percentage and bring some slugging percentage with him. And, for everything that we kind of heard, and he's got some former teammates and now teammates again that were part of this organization with the Mets, and like Ty Walker and Eduardo Escobar and guys like that. So, we heard great things about him. So we were able to kind of grab him, bring that strong side of the platoon DH position in, and then really start to position other areas that we wanted to address if the opportunity presented itself. So grabbing Tyler Naquin, another kind of power bat, to be able to play that right side of a platoon. Now that's not going to really bear itself out in a strict platoon for Buck, but if he wants to give Marte a day, he wants to give Canna a day, he would probably look to do that against right-handed starters. And Naquin playing all three outfield positions, but primarily on the corner, can impact the baseball, give a good plate appearance. And then, grabbing Darren Ruff, who's, been one of the best hitters against left-handed pitching in the last two seasons. I think he's rolling around with a north of 900 OPS against left-handers. So, that was something we were able to do, and then reinforce our bullpen, with another depth piece to bring in Givens, and who's got a track record of success, and obviously a lot of familiarity with our manager, and so that's what we were able to accomplish, and we feel we made the club better.
So, no doubt, when you make the Vogelbach trade, who I think a lot of Met fans like, it was surprising to see Colin Holderman dealt, who pitched very well, has pitched today, pitched well for the Pirates again today, and you said, don't worry, there's a robust relief pitching market. What happened to that?
Yeah, I mean, there was a number of relievers.
Yeah, but you didn't. You got one.
We didn't line up. We lined up on one of them, and didn't line up on another one, and didn't line up on another one. So, but we were in the market for those guys. Everybody's got different price points. Everybody's got different evaluations on players, and so, we can kind of control what we can control. We put players, put pieces in play, and ultimately either other teams, they valued a player from a different team, or we weren't willing to yield that price. So that's what we were kind of presented with at that moment in time. And so but it also kind of want to illuminate the fact that we know we had Trevor May coming back. We know Drew Smith will be back.
But when you said that, but hold on a second. When you said there's a robust relief pitching market, I know at the time it calmed me down because I didn't love trading Holderman, even though I think Vogelbach's a great addition. I said, okay, Billy's going to add 2 or 3 relievers. My feeling, and I think a lot of Met fans' feelings, was disappointment that there was only one in Michael Givens. And I understand May and McGill. I get all that. They weren't trade acquisitions. They're guys that hopefully can come back healthy. We saw May the other day. Are you disappointed that you only added one reliever the way Met fans are?
No, I'm not disappointed because of that. Whether they're brought in from trades or whether they're brought back from the IL or brought up from the minor leagues, contributors are contributors. So if we can bring Drew back or Trevor May, which is already back, open up that optionality with maybe it is McGill at some point in time. Maybe it's, a month from now, maybe it's a consideration on David Peterson. These are things, and we just want to make sure we have that optionality to do that. And I think that exists here in this organization.
But when you, and look, all those guys could be great. I certainly hope so. When you made the comment about the robust relief market, I had the idea in my head, he knows he's adding 2 or 3 guys. Did you think that at the time, that we are going to add 2 or 3 guys, specifically a lefty out of this bullpen before the deadline?
I did not, kind of forecast a number on it, but what I thought is there'd be an opportunity to add a reliever, and that's what we did.
Talking to Billy Eppler, GM of the Mets. Billy, I just wonder this because there are people that put this out there, and I just wonder if there's any truth to it all. Have you found in the short time you've been Mets GM that there is any at all anti-doing business with the Steve Cohen-owned team, or is that more kind of nonsensical rhetoric that's out there?
I haven't found that. We were able to do deals with teams of, kind of varying, market strengths.
Right.
So I haven't found that. I think there'd be something to that. I think if you found that there was a particular demographic of team that just shut you out all the time, but I'm not running into that at all. So no, I'm not on that one.
When you, I'll use David Robertson as an example, because I think for me and a lot of Met fans, that was a target guy. When you say, hey, look, the ask was too high, I think if you told us, and I'm not sure you can, hey, they were insisting on Beatty, they were insisting on Alvarez, most of us would say, damn right you said no. Thank you, Billy.
Right.
But I think if it's a 15th ranked prospect, a lot of us would say, come on, this team can win a World Series. So how would you explain to me and other Met fans what the price was for a guy like Peter, for Robertson, maybe Chafin, to where you didn't feel it was worth it?
We tagged a number of players in play that we would discuss in those situations for those relievers. But like I said, a little earlier, like everybody values players differently, and the value that really matters doesn't matter. How I value them really doesn't matter. How you value them or how a public source, ranking service, it doesn't matter. It really matters how the team that's yielding the player and acquiring another player, it matters to them. So, we feel we, made some compelling offers and put some good players in play. Ultimately, it didn't pan out, and we were kind of unwilling to really stretch into an area that we felt was a bit reckless. Because everything that we're trying to do here is in service of long-term viability and sustainability.
How do you balance that and winning a championship? This team could win it all. This team could win 100 games.
Yeah.
This team's
doing.
You're damn right.
Awesome.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I don't want you to think that we don't think as Met fans this team can't win it all. This is not, oh, my God, we're screwed. It's, hey, one more piece could have made it even more likelier. So how do you balance thinking about the future, which I appreciate. I'm going to be around for a while, I hope, and winning now and giving yourself a better chance to win now?
You can do both, and I think that's what we set out to achieve at this deadline, and that's what we were able to do. We were able to get the team stronger. The team is in a better position now than it was a month ago, and this team's got Jake, right? This team's got Trevor May. This team's got pieces that are going to be able to come back and just really provide, provide that level of impact. We've driven to this current record without Jake and with losing Max for a sizable chunk of the season and without Trevor May. And then, like I said, you bring McGill in, you bring Smith in. We've got options internally to position us for whatever the rest of the season can bring. We have a left-handed starter in Peterson that's got a 51% swing and miss rate on his slider. So I'll throw that into some context. That's the 97th percentile in baseball in swing and miss sliders from a left-handed starter that throws 96. Could he be an option later? Maybe. And no, not slamming the door on it. So
right.
there is optionality. There is personnel here. There are good players here. And they've driven us to this record that we're sitting in right now. And I feel good about them.
Again, as I said to Brian, the sad part of being an insider now is that people throw a lot of crap against the wall hoping it sticks so that they can make a name for themselves. Being the guy or gal that broke this story, broke that story. And we as fans kind of follow along with our tongues hanging out going, oh, my God, the New York Mets are in the running for Ohtani. The Yankees are going to get Soto. And I know a lot of times there's no truth to it, but to the extent you can talk about it, did you dip your toe in the water on Soto and or Ohtani, or is that just kind of nonsense?
Every team in baseball heard from us. So I'll leave it at that. Every team in baseball heard from us. But hey, to that point, though, like I get the names that get volleyed around on radio or print or digital media now. Like it's in an effort to create some news and stir up interest and see like what could be, right? I get it, right? Some of those get moved, some of them don't, right? And so, I get it. But the job, the people that work in that industry, it's to create news. And on the other side of it, our job's to create winning baseball.
In the case of Soto, he was traded, so it wasn't like drama. It really happened. I was under
some do, some don't. Right.
I was under the impression forever there is no way Mike Rizzo's even going to take your phone call. He doesn't want to trade in the division. He won't even trade Josh Bell. So instead of forgetting specifics, just was it made clear early on? Don't waste your time. We are not trading a 23-year-old superstar to you.
Riz and I go back a long ways, have a very good relationship, and talk regularly. And we talked this trade deadline, and those things were not conveyed to me.
Did you feel though that was a thought? Which, by the way, I kind of understand.
I didn't have a feeling. No.
You didn't get the sense that you had no. Okay, did you ever gain any traction? Because again, every team called about Soto. They should. He was traded. Did you ever feel like, all right, this is going somewhere? Maybe
I'm not going to get into specifics. I can just tell you, Mike and I had dialogue.
Talking to Billy Eppler, I know it's been reported all is good, but is all good with Jake now after his first official start for you guys, and where we at with him?
He was smiling in the hallway earlier today, so that was a good sign. And so no, it was he's in good spirits. He's in a good place, and we're looking forward to him taking his turns and. Like I said, help continue to drive this team where ultimately it wants to go.
Preferably, would you like him to not throw 100+ frequently in a game and try to kind of redevelop himself as he was as a younger pitcher, or are you good with whatever he decides to go out there and do?
As long as he's feeling good and mechanically and biomechanically everything looks sound and in place, he should just go be the best version of himself and be the most comfortable version of himself.
We're talking to Billy Eppler, GM of the Mets. Did you guys have discussions on upgrading the catcher position before the deadline?
I'll just tell you we were open to anything that could upgrade the club, but not going to get into the kind of specifics on position. I think I talked a little bit about that as we were headed into the deadline. It's just let's not walk in the door really with a shopping list, but let's just see what can present itself. So. That's kind of, without getting into too many specifics, that's kind of how we approach it.
The reason I bring it up is not even to find out about Contreras or Christian Vasquez before he was traded. It's really to go to Francisco Alvarez. Are you guys close to calling him up, and are you considering calling him up to give you a little bit more punch behind the plate?
I got asked this question the other day, and I can just tell you that in the immediate future, we're not going to be calling him up. But are we sending evaluators through there, and do I get debriefs from our coordinators that go through there? Yep, absolutely. So are we watching him close? We're watching him close. We're watching anybody in that Syracuse lineup. very closely. Because that's our group. That's what we're going with.
When you watch him closely, and I think that he's starting to hit a lot more AAA. I know he got off to a tough start. It seems like the bat's unquestioned. Would you ever be comfortable with a 20-year-old catcher catching this veteran rotation in big games in August and September? Is that something you'd consider? Forgetting the bat, just will you trust him? Could you see yourself trusting him to catch this rotation?
If the evaluators and the coaches that are doing the work with him day to day say yes, I'd have to keep an open mind about it. But it would be something that you would really scrutinize before firing that bullet. That's a really dangerous.
I get
thing
it.
to do.
I totally understand. So does that mean for the Met fans who are excited or pining to see him at some point that it's more likely if we see him, he's as a bat, not as a catcher and a bat?
I wouldn't say one way or another. He's doing both right now, and he's checking boxes. The kind of some of the development objectives that we laid out for him before even moving him to AAA. He's getting there, and he's holding up his end of the bargain and working towards it. So, never say never, man.
I know you got New York roots, so you know what it's like when a New York crowd shows up in force, 40,000 plus, and you should have that hopefully the next 4 days for the 5 games against the Braves because they mean so much. But as GM of the Mets, what was it like for you, 42,000 at Citi Field for the 2 games against the Yanks?
That was pretty cool. I don't think Cash drove over for the game because I just texted him and he said I don't know if I was going to make it. He didn't know if he was going to make it or not. But yeah, I saw some old friends, but it was great. The energy was phenomenal. The fans here are they're just as I remember them when I was working across town. It was passionate. It was filled with energy. Man, it was the coolest environment I've been in a long time.
Did you trash talk Cash after the sweep and say, "Hey, how's that feel, Brian"? No, none of that.
No,
because then Brian starts flashing rings.
No.
Nobody talks trash to Brian Cashman. So if you're up late at night, it's 2:00 in the morning, just so Met fans can get to know the GM a little bit better. And like you said, you only watch baseball. Do you have a Mount Rushmore of baseball movies that you go to in case there's not a game on at 2:00 in the morning?
You know what? I'm wondering right now if you're going to pin me on this. Bull Durham is not a rom-com, okay? Right, guys? It's not.
It could be viewed as a rom-com, but that's okay. You could say Bull Durham. I'm not going to bust your chops on that.
Bull Durham's
okay, Bull Durham.
I wouldn't say that's how it is now, but that was a pretty accurate depiction of the minor leagues, 3 decades ago.
Okay.
So
Bull Durham.
I think Bull Durham's phenomenal.
Go ahead. You got 3 more to go. Go ahead.
Who doesn't like Field of Dreams?
Thank you.
One of the most overrated movies of all time. But go ahead.
Stop it.
Stop it. Oh, come on.
I know, Billy.
Here's why.
I know.
And
I deal with this every day.
Bob Costas agrees with me, and here's why it's overrated.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you this.
Yeah.
42 was phenomenal.
That was a good movie.
42, a great movie. By the way, very few people put that in their Mount Rushmore, but okay, I respect that.
Yeah,
42.
no, I thought it was great.
Yeah, and what's your last one?
And just because this came out when I was in middle school, and you guys, it was probably the same for you guys, right? Major League.
Who
doesn't want a good laugh every now?
Damn right,
for sure. Here's the problem. Here's the weak link for you. Field of Dreams at the end. He doesn't know he's having a catch with his son. That's the problem.
Fair point.
Thank you.
Fair point.
Thank you.
Yeah, fair point.
Okay, that's
but
all.
I'm going to Bull Durham though. If there's only one, I'm going to Bull Durham.
By the way, not a bad one. Congrats on your first year here. Fingers crossed the players do their job. And we're talking about some postseason baseball, and who knows where that leads us to. But always appreciate your time, Billy. Thanks for coming on.
All right, guys. Be well. Thanks. Take care. See you down the road.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Billy Eppler. Did you get any answers that bothered you?
I mean, the actions bothered me.
Okay. How about the explanation for the actions?
It's tough. Here's the problem, okay? When I get upset or Met fans get upset about who the Mets didn't get, it's tough to put a name on, okay, what were they going to have to give up for David Robertson? And I'll tell you right now, if it's a prospect that's ranked between 8 and 25 in the Met farm system, most Met fans are going to say, make the effing trade.
Sure.
Obviously, if the Chicago Cubs are insisting on Beatty or Mauricio or, dare I say, Francisco Alvarez, we're all rational. We'd say, yeah, we're not a prospect hugger, but that's too much.
Yeah.
So I think the result is tough to take. I get that Trevor May's coming back and Drew Smith may come back, and all that stuff is possibly true, and they may all be great. But I think we all felt, especially when he made those comments, which I had to throw into his face, robust pitching market, that meant they were going to get guys. And they walked away
Sounded
with
like
one reliever.
Sounded like there were 2 others he was going after and couldn't close the deal.
Doesn't matter. He didn't get them.
Right, but that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
But if you don't get him, you don't get him.